Iconic piece of Grand Rapids history undergoing a major renovation. The carousel at the Grand Rapids Public Museum, it's nearly 100 years old. And over the last few years, work on the carousel has been ongoing. But now in their home stretch, a team of artists are meticulously pouring new life into the ride. And I actually went to the museum to get a behind the scenes look. We are here on the 4th floor of the Grand Rapids Public Museum. This is a place that you at home probably have not really gotten a whole lot of access to, but today that changes because we are taking a tour of the renovations going on to the carousel there along the river. If you're familiar with GRPM, you know that they have this really grand carousel out there. And joining us is Stevie Hornyak from the GRPM here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and kind of showing us through what you guys have going on. So this 4th floor space is where you guys are kind of taking the animals that need a little bit of extra love, need a little bit of renovation for that carousel, and you guys are basically taking them apart and fixing them. So kind of explain the process here.
So what we see right now in this room is the painting stage of the process. There's about 9 steps. So we go into removing all of the paint, so it's down to bare wood, repairing all of the animals where they might need repair on the wood, and then putting primer, base coat, undercoat, and then the finish painting. And as you can see, I've got 4 people in here that are doing 4 different stages of that. So I have some finish painting going on, and I also have some base painting going on, so we can get on to the next stage of finish painting.
Okay, very cool. So some of these animals are at various stages, right? So you have the tiger over here, which looks like it's in the kind of the ending stages of renovation, right? Or would that be deceiving for me to say?
That would be deceiving.
Okay, so there's a lot of more work that needs to go into this.
There's a lot more work. So within the finishing stage, it's also other stages within there. So first we want to work on the body, getting all the body set before we actually get onto the saddle and the trappings or the bridle kind of solid colors and shading. And then we go back to the body to alter anything, because we want to make sure that with our color theory that nothing clashes with anything, and if we need to alter any of the colors, we can do that.
I think it's really interesting about the amount of detail you guys put into this, because not only are these just, they're not regular carousel animals. They actually have a story behind them. They're true to some of the animals that you might see at our local parks like John Ball Zoo, Binder Park down in Battle Creek. Can you kind of explain why you guys wanted to keep it very true to some of the local animals that you might see at our local places?
Yes, so we utilize the carousel a lot for educational purposes, and we wanted to make sure that a lot of the young people that come in, they can recognize animals and use it as a learning opportunity. We also thought it would be really good to kind of showcase what, be more historically accurate on how they might have shown things back in the day, because they used menagerie animals on the carousel because a lot of people didn't see these animals except for in picture books. And this was a good way to represent those animals to the public back at the turn of the century.
Okay, so this tiger is, it's not all the way done. It's getting there.
Yeah.
Certainly further along in the process than the lion right here. So what is kind of the deal with this lion? What is going on here? It looks like we've stripped the paint off. Did we have to do repairs to this lion? What's going on?
Yes, so the lion had a lot more extensive repair work that needed to be done, so we sent it down to our partners down at Carousels and Carvings in Ohio. And he had a lot of nails and other pieces of wood that were blocked in that were not the way to preserve like we normally do now. So we had to get all of that work redone. It took a lot longer than some of the other animals, about 9 months just to get it finished. And then what we did is now we are in the base coat phase. So we want to make sure that we preserve the wood, so that's why we have so many different layers of paint as well to protect it.
Very cool. I know you guys have been naming some of your animals here. I'm going to ask your painter here. What's your name?
Maggie.
Maggie, does this lion have a name so far?
Yes, it does.
All right, who is this? Who do we have right here?
This is Noah, and he's the lion.
He's the lion, of course.
Short and simple.
Just Noah. Any reason why?
You can tell the story.
Okay,
yeah, tell the story.
It's because Stevie loves Trevor Noah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and I do too, honestly, so it's perfect. I've only been on the project, this is my 2nd week, so I didn't get to name him. I've just been painting and sanding.
Very cool. Well, it's looking great so far. I know that this is a process, one of the layers that you have to put on here. Stevie, I want to ask you about the ways in which you guys are making each animal unique on the carousel.
Yeah.
Each one is going to tell a different story. So why is that? Why was it important for you guys to give each animal their own personality in this renovation?
Well, if you've ever watched the kids around the carousel, you'll see how they'll take a long time to pick out which one they actually want to ride. And it's very particular and very special for them. And one of the things that we noticed is that certain animals got more love than others, which was causing some of our mechanical issues. So we wanted to do some functional design and see how we could make it where each animal was unique and each animal was special and everybody felt like it was particular. So what we do is we go and do some research materials to try to figure out how we can bring that uniqueness in for each animal, and then when we start painting it, just like the names, their personality starts coming through, and then that's when we add the final details that make each one just a little bit more unique than the other.
Very cool. I want to point your attention over here to this bunny rabbit. This is going to be part of the new ADA accessible portion of the ride. Can you talk about that? Why was it important for you guys to be inclusive of those folks? And also, how is this particular one going to work?
So one of the things that we're trying to do at the museum here is we're trying to be more accessible for everybody. And so one of the things we noticed is on the carousel there wasn't a place for anybody for wheelchair access. So what we decided to do is take one of our chariots off and have a new one carved by Carousels and Carvings. And with the design process, which Lisa did over here, she actually designed it. We decided that we wanted to make it where a person, there was a room for an attendant, and then not just another part of the bench, a place for somebody else that could sit on, so that all families can enjoy. Yeah, so I'm super excited because people can sit on the rabbit, and we also made sure for the rabbit that we picked two animals on the side of the other chariot. You'll see the pictures. We picked a Michigan frog, and this is a Michigan bunny cottontail. So again, we're using it as a learning opportunity, and we have lots of bunnies all the time out in our front yard. So hopefully the kids can see them in the summer and recognize the animal.
Yeah, so this is the painting area. There's another place along here in the Grand Rapids Public Museum where they're actually doing some of the sanding work, and we'll take you to see that as well. All right, we have made it into another room, more so where they do the sanding of the animals once they're taken off the carousel and brought into this room indoors. This is a horse that is getting ready to go through the process we just witnessed in the actual painting room. So what are we looking at?
So right now this is one of our horses where we're just on the final stages of sanding before it goes into repair work. And as you can see, a lot of the animals, they're normally carved in about 9 different pieces. And with that, like right here where there's seams and stuff like that is where we've had issues of splitting, which is why you can see a lot of the repair work right here. This is where we would take it in and see if it needed to be recarved or if we could just patch it.
Very cool. What I'm noticing, Stevie, is a lot of these animals are old. I mean, they've got some wear and tear to them. How long have they been on the carousel?
Well, the carousel was made in 1928.
Okay.
And so they've been on there since 1928.
Yeah, and so when it was come time to have that renovation a
Yes.
couple of years ago, give me the timeline. So you guys did some mechanical work, and now you guys are kind of in the bulk process of the rest of the animals and refurbishing them. So give me the timeline.
So in 2019, in May of 2019, we had an inspection and got the green light on to go forward with the animals as well as the mechanical work. And then in 2020, we started sanding the first animal in March of 2020. And then we just started painting. And then 21 was when we had more mechanical work made, and then 22 the carousel went back in, and then in 22 of the spring of 22 we opened it, and then it was open for about 1.5 years, and then in January of 24 is when we shut it down for the river walk. But the carousel animals we've continuously done some throughout since starting in 2019.
Okay.
And on average, you know, we're trying to get about 11 done
a year.
Okay, and now that it's closed,
Yeah.
the Riverwalk is and the carousel,
Yeah.
you guys are able to kind of do a
Yeah.
little bit more than you're
Yeah.
typically able to. So pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a really fun process from start to finish to see how the animals are coming to life. And we're actually going to go see some of the animals ready to go back on the carousel.
Yes, because we can't put them on the carousel yet until the pavilion work is done.
Okay. We've made our way down to the second floor of the GRPM, and this is kind of the last stop before those horses get put back onto the carousel. Stevie's here with me again. These look spectacular. So they get moved down here. What's the process look like after?
So right now we are just waiting until the carousel opens so we can put them all on so everybody can ride them.
Just really cool, and you can tell each of them have their own little personality.
Yes.
Right? So this one was Cookie. We were seeing his name up there
Yep.
in the studio.
Uh-huh.
Each one telling their own different story
Yes.
of that animal, and just another lesson for some of the kids that might be visiting.
Absolutely.
Before they get taken upstairs to be painted, I want to show you this over here as well. This is one of the areas where they store some of the horses before they go upstairs. So very cool. And this is after they've been sanded, right?
Yep, they've been sanded and these ones have been base coated and now they just need their finish coat.
Okay. And then just another cool tidbit to round out the tour here. These poles are what all of the animals will be sitting on when they come back. Are these new poles, or did you guys have to renovate the original poles that you guys had?
We renovated the original poles.
Okay, so wow, very cool. All in all, we're hoping that the carousel will be back in use for public this fall, right?
Yes.
All right. Stevie, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right.